YouTube and family. My name is Kayla Deshawn. You already know I am back like I never left. Happy Thursday. I hope you guys are having a great day. If you're new here, welcome. If you're old here, welcome back. You already know what type of time we are on. We get lit over here. These are not just videos, but it's an investment into each and every single one of you. So before we continue, as you can see, we got a little different background going on. Just wanted to spice things up, give y'all something a little different. If y'all hear that sound in the background, you know those little electric smell good things, that's what that is. So to continue, I hope you guys are having a great week. It's Thursday. I mean, we're almost to Friday, which means that we're almost to the weekend. Like, it's good energy. So if you guys saw my last video, I did a yearbook reveal, and I got that idea from my good friend Marlon. I love him so very much. And then it just got me thinking about like high school and different things like that. And so I kind of want to talk about that today, like my experience, and just give you guys a little bit of tidbits of information, especially those that are younger, my younger audience who may be a freshman in high school, about to graduate high school, whatever the case may be. I'm just going to share with you guys a little bit of what I learned. So when I was in high school, I went to a high school that was awesome, the best high school on this side of heaven, Heritage High School in Newport News, Virginia. And I went there originally I was supposed to go to another high school, but I didn't want to go to that high school because I felt like the high school was whack. And the high school happens to be my husband's alumni high school, funniest thing. So I wanted to go to Heritage because Heritage at that time had a magnet program. They had STEM for science, science, technology, engineering, math. And then they had the the university magnet, I believe. And so I knew that I wanted to do the university magnet. And so I remember I went there, and Miss Siphon, if you're watching this, shout out to you. But I went there with me and my mom, and I'm like, I do not want to go to the high school that I'm supposed to go to. I don't feel like it's beneficial for me, blah, blah, blah. And at that time, I kind of knew what I wanted to do in my life. I knew I wanted to be a doctor, whatever, right? So I'm like, I don't feel like this high school, which was also another magnet high school, was going to really benefit me or point me in the direction that I wanted to go in. And so I went to Heritage High School and, had a meeting with their admissions department or whatever. And, they, by the grace of God, they let me in their school, and I was able to go to Heritage High School for that magnet program. My freshman year, I would say I was more so shyer, really kind of like quiet, just because I'm very like observant at first. But then once I come out my shell, I'm like talking. And so throughout my high school journey, a big thing that I did was network with people. I love people. I mean, I just genuinely love people. I'm a people person. So it was very easy for me to like talk to people. It was easy for me to join an organization or to join a club or whatever the case may be. And so there was never a time that I was walking down the hallway and I wasn't giving somebody a hug. Oh my gosh, so-and-so, so good to see you. But like, that gave me joy. Like, it gave me joy to give someone else joy. You know what I mean? So that's the type of person I was in high school. I was very involved. I mean, I was involved in about 10 to 12 different extracurricular activities and organizations. TSA, I was president of TSA, Youth Volunteer Corps, Project Inclusion, PBIS, Project Discovery, Ladies of Hats, like the list goes on, SAD Club, the list definitely goes on. I was in drama club at one point in time, like there was so much going on, but I loved it because I'm the type of person where I have to stay busy for some reason. Like, I have to constantly be on the go. And if I'm not like busy or filling my time up with things that I feel are productive, for some reason I get sad or whatever. So like that meeting, back to back, going here, going there, being heavily involved with like my school, that was nothing for me. Like, that really brought me joy and everything. But because I joined so many organizations and different things like that, I was able to network with different people across different schools, you know what I mean? Make different contacts across the board. So for my people that may be in high school now, and you don't really like, you may not be a huge people person like I am, and it may not be as easy for you to network, my first advice to you would be to figure out, what does your school offer? What does your school have? Do they have sports that you may be interested in, like volleyball, basketball, soccer, football, chess club, drama, writing, chorus, what else? technology classes. What is something that interests you? Even if it's not something you love, what's something that interests you? So find out what your school offers after school, even during school. Like, you like counting money? Do you want to help with your school's bank? Like our school had like a bank like Bayport, like you can make accounts there and everything like that. The morning show, like do you like being on the spotlight, or is that something that interests you? So in high school, start kind of like filling things out. What is something that catches your eye, and go for it. Join a club, join an organization. And that's a good way for you to not only just connect with people and network and get to like know different people, but it's a good way for you to make friends. If you're not a good friends maker, if you're not good at like communicating to other people, or you're just kind of like a misunderstood individual, so at first glance, like someone may not think that you're like the friendliest person, joining a club or a sport is something that will benefit you very greatly. It'll help fill your time. It'll also provide you a sense of belonging there as well. So that'd be my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice that I would tell you is figure out, start to kind of get to know your teachers. Get to know your teachers. What are they into? What are clubs that they spearhead? Because a lot of times teachers would kind of say, hey, like this club organization is giving out scholarships, blah, 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 and it's open to the public, but you would have never known had you not made that connection. You see what I mean? So getting good with your teachers, not like trying to be the teacher's pet, but talk with them. Hey, what's your background? What do you do? Oh, okay, you're part of this sorority. Oh, okay, you're part of this fraternity. Okay, you do this at your church, and your church has this going on. You get to find different things out that you can use to your advantage. And also when it's time for like that time to apply for colleges and stuff like that, you may need letters of recommendation, but because you built such a good rapport with teachers and different administration staff, with not just teachers, but receptionists, with the custodians, and making yourself friendly and just loving, not just as a one way. So I may need these people later, but genuinely to build these human connections. As life goes on, people will not mind stepping for you. They're going to step for you every single time, and they're going to make sure you're good. And I'm a witness to that. So that'll be my next piece of advice. Also, in high school is one of those times where it's like, oh my gosh, like I got to figure out what I want to do with my life after high school. I got to know by the time I graduate high school, I have to have my whole life planned out. And my friend, that's just not true. That's not true. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't really know what they want to do or have like a solidified sense of direction until sometimes after they graduate college, at 5 to 10 years after they graduate high school. You know what I mean? And there's 40, 50-year-olds that have major career changes, and it happens quite more often than you may think. They have these major career changes after they've been in this one career for 20 plus years, or they've even retired, and now they were a sheriff, they're retired as sheriff or chief of police, now they're going into education, or they retired in education and now they're going into finance. So like those are big jumps, but guess what? Those big jumps are okay. So that should tell you that change is okay, and it's okay to not know, but it is good to explore. It is good to put yourself out there. So a next major piece of advice to kind of, okay, well, how do I find out what I like? Okay, what interests you? What even piques your interest even just a little bit? Oh, okay, my great grandmama was a doctor. My mama was a doctor. My daddy was a doctor. Do you want to be a doctor? Is that something that you may want to explore? If that's the case, okay, first things first, what resources are available to me? What is my school offering? Is there a shadow program? Are there any teachers that know other doctors they can put me in touch with? A good thing to do would be to call your local doctor's offices. Hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm a student here, and I'm interested in being a blah, 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 blah. I was wondering if there's an opportunity for me to come shadow your doctor or shadow one of your nurses for a day. Most of the time, companies and businesses will say yes. Not only does it make them look good, right? It gets them exposure, right? Because if you like it, guess what? It's going to be other students coming, and they get funding like that. People start getting attention like that. They get money from the government and other things like that. And people want to donate into that cause. And then sometimes you might be that person that starts a whole program, a whole shadowing program, a whole mentorship program. So if there's something that interests you, call them, call that company. You want to get interested in, you want to get into banking, or you may not even know that for sure. Call a bank, call your local bank. Hey, go there with the parent. Hey, my name is so-and-so. I would like to just kind of pick your brain about da-da-da-da. Can I set up a time with you to chat or whatever? How did you get here? And those would be the time you ask those questions. So that would be a major key of advice. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Use your resources that you have available to you. And if your school doesn't offer you any resources, your extracurricular activities doesn't offer you any other resources to kind of narrow down your list a little bit, or to even kind of confirm or deny, yes, this is something I am interested in, but I don't know, I want to know more, or no, that's dead, like I'm definitely not about to be out here seeing blood and guts, you know what I mean? You want to do that and kind of figure that out. So that's what I would suggest as well. Don't be afraid to call companies. Don't be afraid to, hey, introduce yourself, because guess what that's doing? Let's say you're a freshman and you do that, you're fresh out of high school, you're at least 18 years old, 18, 19, they're going to remember you. And because you shadowed at that company, you may have even did a couple of hours volunteer work there. They might even hire you just because they know your name, they know your face, they know your work ethic, or they know kind of how you are. They may see potential in you, and you already know a lot about the company. So that gives you an edge up over everybody else that may just seemingly apply and not really have that already one-on-one connection with the company or with that team already. So it makes you look good. And it also pays off because let's say your school has a volunteer hour requirement. I know my school did. I don't know if that's just because like it's a magnet school or whatever, but we had a volunteer hour requirement. We had to do like 200 hours of some type of volunteer work or whatever the case may be. So also reaching out to businesses and stuff like that may be a great opportunity for you to not only knock out your volunteer hours, but to also get that exposure and the kind of that practice around being in something that you think you may want to do, because you may find out you may not want to do that. Okay, yeah, I don't want to be a doctor. Oh, you have to do this? Oh, no, I'm not willing to do that. And boom, you're able to kind of figure out, okay, boom, doctor's off the list. Or nope, I don't want to be an EMT. Or, you know what, I actually don't want to be a principal. You know what I mean? So my next piece of advice to you, as you go throughout your high school career, have fun. Have fun, have fun, have fun. You only go to high school once. Have fun. Go to your prom. Go to those events. Go to ring dance. You know what I mean? I don't say I regret anything in high school. I didn't go to my ring dance, but I wasn't going to go to my prom either. But I ended up going. But that's like a whole nother story time, how that all played out. But I wish I would have went to my reunions. I wish I would have went to all my homecomings. I only went to like one or two, but those are moments that are going to like last forever. Like you're going to remember those when you're going to recount your high school experience. You're going to remember, oh my gosh, yes. And I danced with so-and-so. Oh my gosh, girl, this is what I wore. Yeah, bro, I was looking sharp. Those things matter, especially when you get older and you begin to reminisce, or you get older and then you have a kid and you're telling your kid about your experiences and showing them pictures. You want to have memories to be able to share with them and share with your friends, your family, and different things like that. So another thing about high school, like I mentioned earlier in my video, was that there's a lot of pressure about, oh my God, I need to know exactly what I need to do in my life for the next 50 years by the time I walk across that stage. And like I said, that's not true. You have so many opportunities to kind of figure out and navigate your life. A lot of times, and this is just my belief, I feel like high schools do a pretty piss poor job at really exploring or informing students about all the other avenues that can happen after high school. A lot of times high school only pushes a narrative of college prep, SAT prep for college, ACT prep for college, this and this, college trips, blah, 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 which is amazing for those that genuinely want to go to college or whatever the case may be. And that's a good option for them. But when that's the only options being presented, it's either college or the military. And it's like, that is not the end all be all of life. I'm telling y'all right now, like that's cap. That's not all there is to this adulthood, transitioning from high school life when you're still a kid, and all of a sudden you hit 18 and some of our parents are kicking us out the house. We don't even know what we want to do yet, because for one, we don't even know about credit, bills, saving, none of that. A lot of times high schools only push this narrative of college, right? And college and the military are the only two routes, and that's just not true. A lot of times, when that's the only thing that's being pushed, that puts a lot of pressure on y'all, on us as students. Like, oh my gosh, well, what if I don't want to go to college? Or no, I'm not really feeling college. Or, and I definitely don't want to go to the military. Or I'm not really feeling the military either. So then we only feel like these are our only two options. But what's not talked about is trades. What's not talked about is different certifications that you're able to get. What's not talked about is like local apprenticeship schools and different things like that. What's not talked about is entrepreneurship. What's not talked about is branding and different things like that. What's not talked about is, okay, if I want to do this, is it better to get a certification or is it better to get a degree? And those things matter, you know what I mean? So for every profession, it may be better to get a degree because, it may be better to get a certification because, for one, certifications are cheaper, they take less amount of time, but the type of path you want to take doesn't take all that. They just need a specialized type of thing that's going to benefit you the most. Or do you need a whole degree for what you want to do? But that's not really a topic or a difference that's even discussed in high school. And so I'm putting y'all on game now that that's something you kind of need to discover as well. Not discover, but explore as well. Pick people's brains. Ask them questions. Why do you do what you do? How did you get here? Do you feel like your degree was necessary? Was this necessary to even do this? Could you have done this without this? How much money did you spend? And those people that are willing to help you, they're going to answer your questions and give you that one-on-one game. But there's so many other options outside of high school. After high school, y'all, aside from college, aside from the military, aside from all those old two options that they really talk about, but there's so many other avenues, but you won't know unless you ask, and sometimes you won't even know unless you really just kind of do that work for yourself. And so those are some other options that you guys could also look at while you're in high school. Okay, so what do I want to do now? Okay, I want to be EMT. Do I have to go to a 4-year college for that? No, you can go to your local community college and go through a 1.5 year, 2-year program. Boom, you're an EMT, whatever the case may be. Or even nursing school, whatever the case may be. You really have to kind of do your research and go from there. So that's a huge thing that I would encourage every high schooler to really explore, is not just college, not just the military. Yes, those are great options. They are great options. But that's kind of like a whole nother video. I feel like college is a good option when you kind of know what you want to do already. Yeah, you can go undecided, whatever the case may be, but to really maximize your experience, you know what I mean, it would be good. I feel like college or university is a good option when, okay, I'm pretty set on this path that I want to take. Not to say you're tied down to that path, but it's a good option and the most beneficial option, in my opinion, when you kind of know, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I want to do this, whatever the case may be. And then don't forget community college. A lot of high schools don't really push that narrative a whole lot, and I don't really know why, but community colleges can work for you if you allow them. Community colleges are good, especially if money is tight, you know what I mean? Or if you're also quite not sure what you want to do, you might want to go to a community college first and kind of, okay, let me not put that pressure on myself, whatever. But while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and get my associate's degree. So then if you figure out, you know what, I want to go get my 4-year degree, you can do a 2+2 program. Do 2 years at your community college, 2 years at a university. Now you got your associates and you got your bachelor's. You got 2 separate degrees under your belt. You see what I mean? A lot of times community colleges, they're a lot cheaper. In my opinion, sometimes they're easier to deal with as well. They also offer a lot of scholarships, a lot of different funding opportunities as well. Those are good for different, like IT, if that's something you want to go into, IT, like EMT, nursing, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all things that you can explore at your local community colleges for a fraction of the cost of a 4-year university. Not talking bad about a 4-year university or anything like that, but sometimes to really maximize on your money, it's good to have the full picture and to be able to explore every single option that's available to you, and not just the one that's talked about the most or the one that all your friends are doing. Which brings to my next point. So my next point that I would really talk about, that I really would like to discuss, is a lot of times, we may not know what we want to do while we're in high school. I mean, we're 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, still out playing with our friends. Like, you know what I mean? Probably just not getting our first job, et cetera, et cetera. So not only are we just now learning this, now we're, oh my God, like I'm about to be not a full grown adult, but I'm about to be an adult. You know what I mean? I'm now 18 years old, whatever the case may be. I can vote. I can do this. I'm my own legal guardian, et cetera, et cetera. But in high school, sometimes peer pressure is a strong thing, you know? And so you may not be feeling college. You may not be feeling the military, or you may be feeling college, but all your other friends are like, oh no, girl, well, I'm doing this, or nah, I'm gonna go start my own mechanic shop. And so sometimes when everybody else around us is doing something completely different than what we're doing, sometimes we can kind of feel that pull or that tug to kind of, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this too. Yeah, y'all. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be yourself. Be yourself. If there's something that you want to do it for you, because you would rather make a decision and it was truly something that you wanted to do, and let's say it didn't work out, but at least it didn't work out not because, well, I did it because of this and it's all their fault. No, if it didn't work out, at least it was something that you wanted to do yourself. And now you just pick up and you move around. You figure out your next move and you get up and you build from there. You know what I mean? As opposed to doing something just because everybody else is doing it, or just because you're like, oh man, or my parents are talking me into going to college. If college is not something you want to do, or if the military, your parents could be talking you into something, or putting that pressure on to do something because that's their family tradition. Your great grandmama was this, my mama was this, I was this, and you're going to be this. If you don't feel that in your heart or a genuine pull towards that, I'd highly recommend exploring other options. At that point in time, you're your own person, you're doing your own thing, and guess who's responsible for your actions? You are. Mommy and daddy is not responsible for your actions. You're responsible for your actions. So here's a prime example. Let's say college was never your thing. You hate school. Matter of fact, you hate school. You want to open your own business, or you want to pursue music, you want to pursue producing, you want to pursue consulting, whatever the case may be. But your parents are pushing college on you, right? College. Oh yes, I went to this university and you're going to go here. As a matter of fact, the dean already accepted you and I've already had a talk with them, blah, blah, blah. So now you're feeling this pressure, right? Boom. You try to tell your parents. They're like, no, you're going to school, whatever. And they pay for it and everything. You get there, and guess what's going to happen, right? Well, I'm not going to speak that. Guess what likelihood that could happen? You get there to this four-year university. Mind you, it's not your passion. It's not even something that interests you. And so guess what? It makes it 10 times harder for you to even put your effort into it. Go to class, get up, have that self-control, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you're really responsible for you. So if you do something, you don't show up to class, them professors not calling mommy and daddy. They're not even going to call you because they get paid regardless whether you show up to class or not. You're paying them, type of thing. But now you're doing something, not doing something, whatever the case may be. And then boom, God forbid you flunk out, or you drop out, or whatever the case may be. And then now your parents are heated, but it was never something you wanted to do in the beginning, but all that could have been avoided by a simple talk and a simple conversation. So yes, those things are hard, but don't do something that you genuinely don't have a strong pull to or a strong interest to, especially something like college, especially something like, the military, something that's like a commitment. Let it at least have some inkling of, yeah, you know what, I do want to do this, because a lot of times people end up regretting those decisions. They end up like, man, I really didn't want to do this to begin with, whatever the case may be. So that's another piece of advice. Some parents might think that that's controversial, but that's real. You know what I mean? Even for my parents, if your kid is telling you that they're not interested in that, as opposed to shutting them down and forcing a narrative down their throat, sit them down, talk to them, and try to figure out, okay, so what does interest you? Because you can't just sit on my couch all day. You got to get up and do something. You know what I mean? Figure out what their passion is. Help them exercise their passion. Because when a person is passionate about something, they truly love something, they're going to do it and give it their all, and they're going to operate in excellence, as opposed to being forced to do something and they're given a piss poor job and unsatisfactory work ethic. You know what I mean? It's a complete difference. And so that would be my advice to even my parents that have like high schoolers or middle schools, whatever the case may be, especially my parents that have like kids about to walk across that stage come June. You know what I mean? Really sit them down, figure out what their passion is. And sometimes, is for my parents, it's kind of hard for parents to do that because they've been taught college this and college that, or they've been taught X, Y, and Z. So that's what they teach their kids. And so sometimes it's hard to have an open mind or a different approach to parenting, or a different approach to talking to their kid when it comes to that lifetime, that lifetime type of decision. But I'd really employ and encourage my parents when it does come that time, because you might even have kids now. This may be 10, 20 years from now. But when it does come that time and your kid is hitting you with, Mom and Dad, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to be the owner of your mechanic shop that's been passed down through generations. I want to do this, blah, 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 blah. Big thing, compromise, explore. Don't just shut down the kids' dreams like that. Because guess what? You parents are such a big force, either a really big encourager or a really big destroyer of dreams, So I'd rather be the encourager. Figure out, hey, you know what? All right, you don't want to do this. Well, what can I ask why? Oh, you like baking. Your passion is baking. Then boom, your kid ends up being a multi-billionaire. You know what I mean? As opposed to just only being a millionaire. So the sky is the limit. High school is not, high school can work for you if you work it, but it won't if you don't. And my last piece of advice when it comes to my high schoolers, and I can only speak kind of like for my state, you know what I mean, that I'm in. But our state had, where our high schools in our state had what they call, you have AP class, you have honors classes, right? You have AP classes, which stands for advanced placement, and then you have dual enrollment as well. And so you can take honors classes anywhere from freshman all the way up to senior year. So what's the difference between honors class and a regular class? Well, an honors class is worth, a regular class on a GPA scale, if I get an A in this class, is worth 4 points, right? If I get a B in this class, is worth 3, and so forth, so on, right? But if I'm in an honors class, if I get an A, it's worth 4.5 points. So it counts a little more towards my GPA. It can either be a GPA booster or a GPA destroyer, right? And then you have AP classes with this, which is, I believe, I've been in high school for a little while. It's either worth the same or either a whole point more, or whatever the case may be, right? And so, boom, honors classes, some say the classes are just a little bit more difficult. Some say the course load is the same, whatever, but it's meant to challenge your kid a little bit more, hold them to a higher standard, right? Same thing for AP classes, whatever the case may be. But then you have dual enrollment, which a lot of people don't really talk about dual enrollment or really encourage that for their children to do. But dual enrollment is an opportunity where your senior child, right, they're still in high school, of course, but for a fraction of their time while they're in high school, they can go to the local community college and complete college courses that can count towards their college education if they decide to pursue college after graduation, right? And so, boom, not only are you living the high school life, now you're getting college credit as well, which is a grand opportunity, especially for those that know they want to go to college or know they want to go, okay, yep, I'm going to go to my local community college and I'm going to transfer, or I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. It's a genius idea, but it's not really talked about a lot of times. So dual enrollment, I would encourage you, if you can. My high school kids, you may be like, well, I don't want to do college, or college maybe, I just want to be in high school. I just want to live my life with my friends. You can still live your life with your friends, but you can also set yourself up and even chop some of that time down from the time it takes to complete your degree, right? So there's dual enrollment. I'd encourage if you have the opportunity, do it. Do dual enrollment. Don't do AP courses. AP courses to me is a waste of time. Those exams don't count for anything. They have these hard AP exams. This is on my personal take. I felt like it was a waste of time. I would definitely took honors courses and a few AP courses, but the AP exams was just so hard, but they didn't count for anything. They didn't count for any college prep. They didn't count for any credit towards college or anything. So to me, it was a waste of my time, but that's what I believe. But dual enrollment is a gold mine. And also, if your community has New Horizons, or your school partners with New Horizons is kind of like this thing where they have like a bunch of different trades and opportunities where You can go there. You can get certified in cosmetology. You can even get certified in HVAC, being an electrician, a EMT, a firefighter, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times you can be doing that program throughout high school, throughout your senior year. And by the time you graduate, boom, you are now licensed in cosmetology. Now, if you do decide to go do some type of other career, that's fine. But even if you don't, you still have a certification under your belt, and you can go into this type of career in cosmetology or a firefighter or this. And that's another thing that a lot of times people don't really know about or even take advantage of in high school. And like I said, I'm only speaking from my state, which is Virginia, but that's what our high schools had available to us. And so, hi, my high school students, I think that's about all my major advice tips that I would give y'all. Definitely take advantage of dual enrollment. That's a huge one. New Horizons is another huge one. Be involved. Go to every event that you can. If you're bad at making friends, or you're not a good communicator or people person, that's okay. That's fine. Join a club, join something. You may not love it at first, but join something that gets your attention, because you can always change it later. And do what you love. Do what you love. And it's the only options after high school is not just college, it's not just the military, but there's trades, there's entrepreneurship, there's so many other options. So explore, ask questions, pick people's brains. If something that interests you, call that company. Hey, my name is so-and-so. Can I come shadow you for a day? Or can I set up a phone call with you to chat for X amount of minutes? I would just like to pick your brain and ask you a few questions, or whatever the case may be. Talk to your teachers. A lot of times teachers will help you and be wealths of information and knowledge for you. There's some teachers from my high school I talk with regularly. Like I still ask some questions. Hey, what's this and this and this and this? Quick to answer my questions. So that's the type of relationships and networks you want to build as well. And then that practice of building relationships and networking, if you do decide to go to college, if you do decide to go into the military, whatever your next move is, if you do decide to go into a trade or entrepreneurship, those are good skills to have, because networking is huge. A lot of times it is about what you know up here, your skills, your work ethic. And also part of that is about who you know can catapult you and put you in rooms with people you never even imagined. And it can change the whole dynamic of your life and your status, your pay status as well. So you definitely want to take advantage of those things. Have fun. High school is a time that you're still learning. You're setting yourself up for success. Do your best. Everything matters. So no, it's not the time. You may think like, I already know what I'm going to do, and I can get suspended every other day, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you can, but be smart. You want to be there. You know what I mean? You want to build positive relationships, whatever the case may be. And everything you do matters, especially in high school. You know what I mean? Because what happens? You get in trouble for fighting, right? Boom, you get in trouble for fighting. What happens if those other parents press charges on you? You know what I mean? But boom, you already had another job. You already had something lined up after high school, so you wasn't even worried about getting suspended. You know what I mean? It's a lot to think about, because you're getting older. You're about to be technically an adult once you hit 18, because you're now responsible for yourself, legally responsible for yourself. Mommy and daddy are no longer legally responsible for you, right? And so it's a lot to think about, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a fun thing. It's supposed to be a fun thing, exploring, you know what I mean? And for those that may not be as fortunate enough to, be able to have all those resources available to you, ask questions to those that you do that you come in contact with and that you run into. And for those that's like, well, I don't have the option. I don't have the option to do this, and this, and this, and I have to go straight into the workforce. I got to take care of my child. I just had a kid, or you know what, this happened and I got to take care of my little sister or my little brother. That's fine. That's fine. But don't lose sight of yourself and all that life brings. Don't lose sight of yourself. If it's something you love, write it down. Write a plan. No matter how long it takes for that plan to come to fruition, I'm telling you, there's power in writing it down and declaring those things, even though it may not seem like a way out. But your work ethic, people notice work ethic, and I know that for a fact. Your work ethic, your character will take you very, very far. So I love y'all. I know I've been chit-chatting for a long time, but this is something, I definitely wanted to get out there, especially like my high schoolers, even like middle schoolers. These things to even take into account as well, that my middle schoolers that kind of know what they want to do. Your high school matters. Your high school can kind of project you or kind of tilt you and put you in rooms of people that can help you, benefit you for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like, I was in middle school, I told you, like, the high school I was destined for, I did not want to go there. I didn't want to go there because I don't want to fly stupid planes. I don't want to be in aviation academy. It doesn't even make sense for me to go there. But I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew that I wanted to do something with X, Y, and Z. And so I was able to kind of go for that, or whatever the case may be. So I love y'all. Tune in every Thursday, y'all. Every Thursday at 8 p.m. I appreciate y'all so very much. We're well over 100 subscribers. We're on the road to 1K. I would say 200, but we think big here. We think big here. We are speaking into existence, whatever the case may be. So I love y'all. I hope y'all have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. And y'all, you know the vibes. We are out. And hold up. Did y'all subscribe yet, though? If you didn't subscribe, what are you doing? What are you doing? Did you subscribe? Go ahead and do that for me. Okay. You did it? I'm just kidding. I love y'all. I hope y'all did subscribe, though. I will see y'all later. Bye, y'all.